Here he is. He was watching me when I was walking back from doing orange, as if to say, are you going to do something with me tonight? Come on then, Casper. Come and say hello to all your mums. Casper. He's like, I don't want you now. He's gone off and done something else. Actually went off to get some of his feed. Come on, let's go. Good boy. Say hi to my mums. Hi. So I obviously had to turn that off to get him. Come on, it's a drip. Come on. So we're going to come in, do some groundwork tonight, because I haven't really done a lot of that, only quickly before being ridden. So I'll do some groundwork tonight and then ride in the next couple of days. Good boy. So here when I started him, I noticed he was really stiff and very clicky behind. I always have thought he's really stiff on this right side, but he started off really stiff. So here I'm really getting him to bend and then to push through with his inside hind, and then really push his rib cage away from me to get him bending rather than just leaning over and doing the wall of death. So there, he was supposed to stop by I turn in his inside hind until he's facing me, but then he should step back away from me. What Casper always wants to do is to then walk on top of you. So that's what the little kind of reminder to him is there. You know, his thing is always, so stop there, then he wants to come forward. He should step back away and keep that space. He finds that quite hard because he just always wants to step forward. He's not mean, there's no malice in it, he's just he's actually very, very babyish for a horse that's so old in so many ways. He's so babyish in a lot of ways as well. Same with the biting, there's no malice in that biting. It's very babyish, very he always just has this kind of air of being misunderstood and just a kind of biting to almost, so I don't know, sort of ask questions. He's I don't see any malice in him in anything he's ever done, only just sort of wanting to be understood really, and wanting to understand. So here we're not just going round and round. What I'm always doing is putting him onto 3 tracks, which means that instead of being on a circle where each of his left and rights would be either side of the imaginary line, you do it so that he he has 3 of them one side of the line and only 1 the other side. So it would be his inside foreleg that would be on the inside, and everything else I want to the outside. And that gets him to engage his core, work from behind, and then eventually to the point where he will then work with his nose on the floor. So here we're just doing that kind of respect, step back when I ask you to stop, step away from me, so he should step back and away, and then you can begin to turn him the other way. So every time he stops, he should go back, away, to whichever way you want him to go, and then the new circle can begin, because he gives you that space all the time. So here you can see I've just got that stick. I'm just bringing his forehand to the inside and pushing his quarters to the outside, and he becomes gradually more and more supple. Like I say, whenever he starts, I almost sort of question whether he's even sound, and then by the end of it, he's always coping quite nicely with the work. But I think he's just worked for so long, a little bit crooked and a bit unlevel, that's how he always starts out. So he starts to stretch, and initially he finds it difficult, so he stretches only for the odd moment and then comes back up. So where he's not used to stretching those muscles over his back, he comes back up again into a position that's more normal for him. So keep on popping him into that position on 3 tracks. That encourages him to use the right parts of his body. So stepping under from behind and engaging his core to get around the circle, and then eventually you'll see that by using himself properly, then he begins to stretch down. Still can't do it sort of around a whole circle, but I wouldn't expect that within a few days of working him. I could obviously get him to do it slightly better from on board, because I can really keep his hind legs moving, and keep the contact where I want it. But equally, you need to do it on the ground, because they need to have lots of time of working it out for themselves and being able to engage their core and work over their back without the weight of a rider on. Good boy. So I've cut them a fair bit out because obviously it gets a bit boring watching the same thing. But here again you can see that I'm continually pushing that hind leg under, so you should see that, you know, he's not just going round and round in circles, but what's happening is that his inside hind is continually being pushed under, so that he is learning to carry himself properly and become much more supple. You know, when he started, he wasn't moving through his body like this. You know, he kind of tries to go around really stiff and lean to the inside. By the end of it, you know, he kind of really bounces because he's so much more supple. Good boy. There, I'm just rubbing the whip over him a lot because I find that he can respond in a negative way to the whip. They should never run away from the whip, they should just be guided by it. So if they're ever trying to run away from it, then that needs to be addressed. So that's what I was doing there. Very good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Very good. Very good. You keep the distance. Good boy. Good boy. Up. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. My distance, your distance. Good boy. Good boy. No one said you could move. Go on. And he's funny here where you just want him to stand and give you the distance. He starts to get very much like he doesn't give you eye contact. He really struggles with that concept of sort of not being on top of you, and just sort of having that respect and just standing there. He starts to not give eye contact. It's really funny. Again, it's not in any mean way. It's a real It's actually a real sort of insecurity sort of thing with him. He can't be, you know, the big man. He doesn't know who to be.